So this one night we're getting ready for bed, all the kids are getting their pajamas on, and my wife and I are sitting on the couch, and my son Sam is sitting in his room, or he's standing in his room trying to put his pajama pants on. And he like does, like all had this experience where he puts both his legs into like one leg of the pajama pants and he like falls over. We could see him like so frustrated, and he like rips it off and he like stands up and he's like, man, if Adam and Eve hadn't sinned, this would have never happened, And we both just like looked at each other like, what do you mean? And I said, Sam, what are you talking about? He's like, if Adam and Eve hadn't sinned, this wouldn't have happened to me. He was so frustrated. I said, do you mean that if they hadn't sinned, it's because we wouldn't need clothes? And he was like, of course, we had been teaching him all about like the Garden of Eden. He was getting ready for his first communion, and we wanted to make sure he understood what Eden was. We're kind of obsessive about this, right? Because you really can't understand the Catholic faith, and you certainly can't understand the heights of the Catholic faith, sanctity, holiness, without understanding the creation story. Right? In the beginning, God creates the world, and Pope Benedict says that the world was created as a place of encounter between God and man. The place we see that most clearly is in the creation story, right? When God originally creates this world, it's in liberty. Sin had not entered the world yet, and it's this beautiful place of encounter between Adam and Eve, right, our first parents, and God, the creator of all things. He says, in the beginning, right? This is how it starts. This is the beginning of our story. And in a sense, this is what we're trying to get back to, right? I mean, even greater than this. In the lives of the saints, we see this, right? That it's almost like they've become so holy, they're experiencing a new beginning, a new Eden. They're living in that garden once again. The gospel writers remind us of this, right? Both John and Mark begin with that word, beginning. It's telling us, go back to the beginning, go back to when God created, so that we know that through Jesus, he's going to recreate and he's going to renew the whole world. Jesus is the new Adam. And so we have to understand the beginning is so important. The beginning of the great story of our faith is when God creates the world as this place to encounter him. The whole reason that all of this is here is for us to enter into communion with God. And the whole reason Christ came is to recreate man after sin destroyed what God had created in the first place. This Advent season, as we kind of retell the story of the incarnation of Christ, God becomes man, we're retelling the story of God redoing his creation, right? Of renewing his creation, of the new Adam. So let's meditate on that. Let's take time to think about the fact that God wants to recreate you. God wants you to go back to the beginning. He wants you to live in that beautiful Eden, that culture of encounter between God and man.